Hello and welcome back to Chartscope Engineering. We're back with another 2D sketching video with Creo Parametric. Again, if you're new to this channel, welcome. And this is a series in 2D sketching with Creo Parametric in which we're going to be making 2D sketches. I'll be showing you how to make certain common sketches such as this one. So without any further ado, we're gonna jump into it. Before we move on, I would highly appreciate if you could subscribe to this channel, which is gonna help me a lot and it's gonna help me deliver these videos to you. And your feedback is highly appreciated, and you can drop a comment in the comment section below. And before we move on with the video, I have this drawing printed out in front of me, so I'm gonna be looking at that. But if you want access to this, I have also linked this technical drawing down in the description, so you can find it there. There's gonna be a Google Drive link, so that you can practice it on your own as well. So to start off with, we've got a Creo Parametric open. Over here we can see three planes, which is the right, top, and front, as you can see over here. So we've got the different planes. So these planes are the ones that we're going to be making the 2D sketches in. We can select any plane we want. You can either select by selecting from here directly, or you can select from here as well. So I'm going to select the front plane, and then I'm going to either click over here, which is a sketch button, or over here to enter the sketching window. Perfect. So I'm gonna click this button, which is a sketch view, which is gonna give us a perpendicular or a normal view of this of the sketching plane. So in this tutorial slash 2D drawing video, I'm gonna be making this model. Again, as always, if you've watched my previous videos, I always mention before starting off to identify the symmetries, which you can see in a sketch. So in this case, we can see that the part is symmetrical around this axis, which means that you only have to make one half of it, and then you can, in the end, once you've completed one half, you can use the mirror command to mirror it on the other side, which basically completes the whole sketch. So you don't have to draw the whole thing, so you can be more efficient in this way. So without waiting any further, one more thing, I'm gonna be starting from this point. I can take this point as my origin, and I'll start drawing from this onwards. So without any further delay, let's get on with it. So this is the origin. I can hide the origin over here by selecting this command so that it hides it, and then also we don't really need the sorry about that. We also don't need this plane display, so we can hide that as well by unchecking that, and we can start off with it. So the first thing I'm going to be making is this circle, which has a radius of 8. The R means radius, which has a radius of 8. I'm not going to be using millimeter because this part doesn't say that we're using millimeters as units. So I'm simply going to say 8 units. Units can be any unit, basically. So select the circle command. I'm going to center the center point over here, and then draw a circle. Press escape to exit the circle command, and turn on the constraints and dimensions display so that we can see the dimensions. So over here you can see that this symbol means the symbol of diameter. We don't want the diameter, we need the radius. So I'm going to click it once, and then we can select this button which says radius, and so that it converts it into a radial dimension. The radius is 8.0. I'm going to press enter so that it can make a circle of radius 8. So again, you can see that this is highlighted. What I can do is I can go over here in the inspect button, and then I can select this option which says shade closed loops, and it's going to stop shading a closed loop. So another thing I always mention in my videos is that as I've already set the radius as 8, I can still change the radius by clicking and dragging it intentionally or accidentally. So in order to avoid that, I'm gonna make this back to 8, and then I have to lock this dimension so that it doesn't change. So go over here, toggle lock, and then press it. You can see that this dimension turns purple now, and then if I try and dragging it, it's not going to change this dimension, which is perfect. Now, so over here you can see this another arc. This arc doesn't have a radius, so I'm gonna assume that this is gonna be similar to this one, this arc, which is a radius of 14. So I'm gonna be using this 14 radius over here as well. So I'm not gonna make an arc, I'm gonna make a circle with centered on this point, and then make a circle of radius 14 units. So again, over here I'm gonna go and select circle command, center. So you can see that symbol over here, over this which has a circle in it. It means that the circle I'm about to draw, it's gonna be concentric to the circle that is already there. Concentric or concentricity means that both of these circles are gonna have a common center point. So I'm gonna click it and then drag it a bit further, and then press again to make the circle, and press escape to exit the circle command. Now the radius of this arc is 14 units. So I'm gonna click it once, select the radial dimension, and make it 14.0. Perfect. Again, I can click and drag it, which will change our radius. So I'm gonna make it 14 again, press enter, and then lock this dimension so that we cannot change it. So all the dimensions in this video that are purple are locked and we won't be able to. We can still change it by double clicking it and then changing it over here. For example, say 9. But again, since this is purple, this dimension is locked, so you cannot dynamically change it. So I'm gonna make it back to 8.0. Perfect. The next thing I'm gonna make is this rectangular thing, which is gonna be centered on the line of symmetry. Oh yeah, sorry about that. The first thing we always have to do is make the line of symmetry. So I'm gonna go over here, center line, select this, and then make a line of symmetry down this axis. This is usually the first thing that you have to do, but apologies for that, I forgot to make it. So I'm gonna drag this a bit further, pan it, and then I'm gonna make a rectangle, which is gonna be centered over here, and then drag it a bit, and then press escape to exit the rectangular command. So now we've got 3 dimensions over here, which will be looking at the sketch and the drawing. So the distance from the edge of this circle to the start of this rectangle, this side of rectangle, is 22. What we can also do is, instead of referencing it from this side, we can also reference it from the center of this circle. As you can remember, the radius of this circle is 8. So if we say 22 is going to be over here, and then from this point to this point, it's going to be 8 units. So in total, it's going to be 22 plus 8 equals to 30 units from the center of the circle to this side of the rectangle. So I'm going to reference that. I mean, we can still do this, but I would always prefer to use it from the center of a circle if we need to reference a dimension. So 30 units down from the center. So this dimension would be 30 units, 30.0. Again, I need to lock this. Now this dimension would be 5, I believe. So the total is 10, but obviously we need to make only 1/2 of it. So it's going to be 10 divided by 2 is 5. So we can change that to 5.0. Press lock. And now this dimension is 72. We don't need to have it because obviously we're not using this symmetry. We're only using the vertical symmetry, because obviously this line of symmetry doesn't exist because this part is not symmetrical around the horizontal axis. So 72 units long is the rectangle, 0.0. Perfect. Now, as you can see that we've got a whole circle and a side of a rectangle over here existing. We don't need the whole circle or the whole arc because obviously we're going to be mirroring it in the end. So I'm going to get rid of this side. So I'm going to go over here, select the delete segment, and then click and drag the mouse button over the parts that I don't need. So it's going to delete it, and then also this line as well. Press escape. Perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this circle and this arc. Again, these are similar to this one with this circle of 8 units and an arc of 14 units. And it is 45 units in a horizontal direction from this center, but we cannot see the vertical. So this circle is located, so this circle is referenced in this diagram. This circle is referenced from this circle in vertical direction, but obviously even this circle is not referenced to anything else in vertical direction. So I'm going to assume that the center of the circle is collinear with this edge. So I'm going to make this I'm going to constrain it in vertical direction based on this edge, and horizontal is already, we've got it. So I'll let you know, I'll just show you what it means. So circle, I'm going to select this command again. I'm going to hover over this edge, and I'm going to keep dragging it. So the constraint that is activated right now is collinear constraint, which means that the center of this circle is gonna lie collinearly on this edge of the rectangle, and I'm gonna make a circle over here. Press escape, and as you can see that now the center of this circle is referenced with this side of the rectangle, but in the diagram you can see that this is not the case. The center of the circle is referenced with the center of this circle. So I'm gonna do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this circle, the center of the circle, hold Control, and then select this center of the circle as well. So you can see we've got vertical dimension, we've got horizontal dimension. So I'm gonna press that, and that is 45 units. So I'm gonna double click it and press 45.0. Perfect. And I'm gonna lock it. Now I'm gonna drag this up a bit so that we have a bit more clarity, and then the radius of this circle would be 8.0 as this one. I'm gonna lock this again. Yeah, I can notice that I haven't locked this, which means that if I try and drag it, it's gonna increase, it's going to change dynamically, which we don't need. And then I will lock this. Perfect. And I'm going to make another circle, which is going to be an arc of 14 units, this one. I'll do the same thing. I'll hover over this center and then make a circular arc. Now you can see that the previous this arc is highlighted now, and you can see that over here we've got an equality sign, which means that it will be constrained to the previous arc that is highlighted green. I can't hover my mouse because it's going to change the circle. So that's an option the Creo is giving me if I want to select this constraint. This constraint means that both of these circles are going to have the same radius. So I'm going to click it, and now you notice I cannot see the, what do you call it, a dimension, a radial dimension on this, and I cannot change the dimension, the radius of this circle as well. Why? Because of this constraint that's activated. So which means that both of these should have the same radius. I can demonstrate that by clicking it and then trying and force Creo Parametric to give it a radial dimension. It's going to give me a warning, which means that now when I in the presence of this equal radii constraint, and when I select a radial dimension, it's going to give me an over constraint warning, which means that these dimensions, they this dimension and this constraint, they conflict with each other, because already this part, the circle is completely constrained, so we don't really need that. So I'm gonna press this X button, and we don't need the extra radial dimension. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this circle and this arc, or a circle initially, which is, as you can see over here, it is 72 units down from this circle, and I'm gonna assume that it lies 45 units horizontally from the center of the circle as well, or from the line of symmetry. So 45 units in horizontal and 72 units down from vertically from this center of the circle. So I will make a circle randomly, and so we've got a couple of dimensions over here. I can spread them out so we can see properly. Now so it is 70. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the vertical constraint, or vertical dimension. So it is 72 units down from the center of this circle. So I'm gonna click this, hold control, and click the center of the circle as well, and I'm gonna select the vertical constraint, vertical dimension. It is 72.0. Perfect. I'm gonna lock this. Now we've got a dimension over here which is referenced from this side. We don't need that, and we need to dimension either from the center of the circle or this line of symmetry. I'm gonna follow the drawing, and I'm gonna use this circle. I'm gonna click this, hold control, and then click this as well, which is gonna give me a horizontal dimension. It was 45 units, 0.0, which is gonna bring it in line with this one. We could also use, previously when I was making this, if you rewind this video back a bit, you could see when I was making this video, a constraint momentarily appeared, which was making this the circle collinear with this one. I chose not to do because I wanted to show you how we can change the dimensions, but you could also constrain it collinearly as well. But in the future videos, if you hang around with this channel in the future, I will be showing you in more detail how we can do constraints and dimensions separately. Yeah, I'm gonna lock this dimension. Perfect. Now the only thing left is to change the radius of the circle. The radius of this circle is 10 units. So I'm gonna click this, change the dimension, diameter dimension to radial, make it 10, and then lock it, which constrains it completely, and it's not moving at all. Now we have to make this arc. I'm not gonna be making just an arc. I'm gonna make a complete circle, and I'll in the end I'm gonna be deleting the rest of the segments that we don't need, similar to what we're doing over here. So the radius of this arc is 20. I'm gonna make a circle of 20 units. Over here, make it radius, and then select 20. Perfect. You can also see that this constraint is activated, which is a coincident vertices, or you can also consider it as a concentric circles, which means that the center of the circle lies with the center of the circle. So we cannot, oops, sorry, I forgot to lock it. 20.0. So now you can see why we need to lock this, because we can change them intentionally or accidentally as well. So now we cannot change any aspect of this circle because it's fully constrained now. Now the next thing I'm gonna be doing is making this line which tangentially joins this arc and this arc. So I'm gonna select the line command, and I can choose any point over here. The constraint that you can see as I hover over this circle is the coincident constraint, which means that the center, sorry about these, come on. So this constraint that's activated now is means coincident constraint, which means that the line the start point that I'm about to draw is gonna lie on this circle. Similar, I'm gonna go over here. Now you can see two come on. Now you can see two constraints that are activated, which the first one being the coincident, which means that the endpoint of this line is going to lie on the circle that I'm hovering on, and the second one means tangency, which means that this line is going to be tangent to the circle. I'm going to click once, and then it's activated. Now you can notice that we've got two constraints over here, but only one over here. We need to make this line tangent to this circle as well. So I'm gonna select this point and hold control and select this circle, and I'm gonna hover over this constraint to make it tangent, and now it's tangent and fully constrained. So if you want to try and drag it, it's not gonna go anywhere. Now the next thing I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna make this line, which is 15 units from the center of the circle or 25 units from this side of the rectangle that we drew earlier. Now these two commands are conflicting with each other because they both mean the same thing. So these dimensions, I'm sorry, not commands, these dimensions are over constrained basically. So you only need one dimension. So I'm gonna go with this dimension, which is 15 units from the center of this circle. But first I'm gonna do is to constrain it in vertical direction. I'm gonna make this line, and I'm gonna make this horizontal lines so that we know where to intersect this line as well. I'm gonna minimize that. I'll show you what I mean. So I'm gonna go hover over the center. I'm gonna go vertically down. I will choose this point, which is lying on the circle, and I will click start and then go straight. You can go drag however much you want, because we're going to be deleting the extra that we don't need. Press escape. Same thing I'm going to do over here. I'm going to go up, and then now I'm looking for this equality constraint, which means that both of these lines are going to be equal in dimension, which are going to be equal in length. I'm going to press click the mouse button again and then press escape. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 15 units, because obviously you can see over here it is 15 units in horizontal direction, which also means that it is 15 units. If you ignore the fillet for a second and make this line go straight over here, and then if these two lines join perpendicularly with each other without the fillet, this line's horizontal direction length would be 15. So I'm going to make this 15, and you can notice now that since these two are equally constrained, this line is going to change as well. So if I change this to 15, that is changing as well. So I'm going to lock this, move this a bit, and I'm going to make a line from this point to this point. Perfect. And this is also fully constrained because of these two lines. So now the fillets, I cannot see any fillet radius over here. This drawing is a bit weird because it's somewhere on it's over constrained, and somewhere it's under constrained, so you cannot see any fillet radius. We can go with a radius of say 5, because we cannot see any, but it's just for practice purposes, so we're just gonna go with a fillet of radius 5. I'm gonna go over here, click this drop down arrow, and then click the circular trim. I'm gonna select over here you can see select two entities, so we're gonna make a fillet between over here this horizontal and this vertical line. I'm gonna click this, and it's gonna create a nice little fillet. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this, make it 5. Perfect. And then select the fillet command again, select these two entities. Okay, why is it giving me this? Yes, it is 90 degrees. Oops, sorry about that. Make it 5. lock this dimension as well, and then lock these two fillets as well. Perfect. So now we can see that we okay, so now if you notice that we don't have, okay, I'll come back to that later. The next thing I'm gonna make is this line, full screen this line, which is tangentially joining to this arc and this arc. So I'm gonna go with the line command, keep dragging it till it reaches this point. Yeah, so again, two constraints. One is coincident constraint and the other one is tangent. Click the mouse button, press escape to exit the line command, and then select this point and this circular arc, and then press tangency constraint, which is going to make this line perfectly tangent to both these arcs. Yeah, so now if you notice, I'll drag it over here. Now if you notice, we've got some segments of the circular arcs that we don't need. We don't need this segment of the arc. We don't need this. We don't need this. So I'm gonna delete all those using the delete segment. Zoom in a bit. So I'm gonna select the delete segment, click the left mouse button and then drag it. Again, click this section and then click this section as well. Perfect. Now press escape to exit the delete segment command. The only thing I think that's left now is this arc, which is radius 70 units and it is tangentially joining to this point. So I'm going to select the circle command, make a circle which is going to be lying on this point. Perfect. So the radius of this circular arc is 70.0, I believe, if I'm not wrong. Yep. And then make this point and this circle as tangent. Oops, it's causing a conflict. Let's see what constraints are causing conflicts. So we've got 20 units, we've got 45 units over here, we've got collinear command. Yeah, we can get rid of this. Okay, no, we cannot. Okay, I'm gonna try making it again. If you cannot figure it out, just try and do it again. Circle command. I'm gonna start. It also depends on where your initial point lies as well. So I'm gonna select this point again. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this point tangent with this, like that, and yeah, I think it makes sense now. Perfect. Now I'm gonna delete the rest of the circle that we don't need. This. Yeah, so now we have made this. So you can see like one half of the drawing is ready. Now I just have to mirror it on the other side. I can uncheck all the constraints and dimensions so that you can see that clearly. I'm going to select the whole thing and I'm going to select the mirror command, and then I will select, so you can see over here, select a straight sketch entity, which is going to be this one. I'm going to select this and then it's going to mirror it on the other side. Press escape and we've got our sketch ready. So that's the sketch for today. Again, I will be linking this sketch down in the description as well, so you can practice it on your own. Again, thanks very much for watching this video on 2D sketching. I hope to see you guys again. If you like this video, consider subscribing it, because it's going to help me a lot again. And then, any feedback would be highly appreciated. You can just drop it down in the comment section below, and hope to see you again in the next video. Thank you and bye-bye.